Why you can't control your thoughts and what to do about it. A practical guide to finding silence in your head. Introduction, an invitation to your mind's laboratory. Before you begin to read or listen to this book, do one thing with me. Right now. Don't think about a pink elephant. What happened? In that private, intimate universe you call yourself, an image appeared against your will. Absurd, ridiculous, but now, inalienable. A pink elephant. You have just fallen victim to a law as ancient as reason itself. A law that governs not only playful experiments but also your most torturous nights, your anxieties, your fears. A law I call the Pink Elephant Law. Now, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Pyotr Garagulya. I am the author of more than a dozen books, and all of them, one way or another, have been about one thing: how a person can break free from their own limitations. I have written about empathy and narcissism, about escaping the matrix of illusions, about awakening sleeping consciousness. I have walked different paths, but the goal was always the same: the attainment of inner freedom. And on this path, I, like you, was constantly ambushed by pink elephants. Only mine weren't pink or elephants. They were far more terrifying. A personal story: how pink elephants became tyrants. There was a time when my own head resembled a battlefield. Not a loud and heroic one, but a quiet, dirty, and hopeless one, like the trenches of a positional war. At night, before sleep, a cinema would switch on. The internal dialogue did not cease for a second. It wasn't a stream of thoughts, it was a stream of self-torment. The same record on repeat: you're not good enough. You missed your chances. You should have acted differently. What if everything collapses tomorrow? These were my elephants. They came uninvited, sat on my chest, and began their endless, dreary dance. I tried to fight them. I screamed at them, "Get out!" I tried to think positive. I repeated affirmations in front of the mirror, feeling like an idiot. And you know what happened? My screams and struggles only made them stronger, bigger, denser, more real. My own psyche had become a prison, and I was both the prisoner and the angry warden for myself. I was in a desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable. And I lost every time. It was then, at the point of complete exhaustion, that I understood: I am fighting the wrong enemy with the wrong weapons. I was trying to cancel the law of gravity by force of will. But to stop falling, you don't yell at an apple falling from a branch. You need to understand the very nature of falling. The pink elephant experiment, not just a game, but a door to the hidden room of the psyche. That simple experiment we started with is not a psychological trick. It is a key. A small one, but it unlocks the door to the very heart of darkness, to the mechanics of your own mind. Behind this door lie answers to the questions that, I'm sure, torment you too. Why does the harder I try not to think about something bad, the more these thoughts pursue me? Why does my brain, a part of myself, work against me? Where is the switch that can stop this endless internal monologue? This book is the result of my journey through that door. It is not a collection of theories conceived in quiet offices. It is a map I drew while wandering through the labyrinths of my own consciousness, fighting my own demons, and eventually finding a way to defuse them. Not to destroy them, they cannot be destroyed, just as you cannot destroy gravity. But you can understand their nature and strip them of their power over you. What this book is really about: not controlling thoughts, but a shift of power. The delusion in which most people live, including my past self, sounds like this: I must take control of my thoughts. This is a trap. A fundamental and merciless one. This book is not about how to control your thoughts. Because it's impossible. Trying to control thoughts is like trying to stop a waterfall with your hand. You will only exhaust yourself and get wet. This book is about a shift of power. It's about shifting the focus of your eye from the content of thoughts, pink elephants, fears, anxieties, to the one who perceives these thoughts. From an actor thrashing about on stage in panic, to a spectator who calmly watches the play, understanding that it's just a performance. You cannot solve a problem from the same level at which it was created. You need to go higher. This book is about how to go higher. How to work with this book, from reader to researcher. Therefore, I invite you into this book not as a reader, but as a researcher. A co-researcher. Don't swallow chapters one after another hoping to find a silver bullet. There isn't one. Instead, you will get a set of tools, 3, and actually 4, keys, and a detailed instruction manual for the mechanisms of your own psyche. You will do exercises. You will keep a journal. You will stumble and feel like nothing is working. That's normal. It's supposed to be that way. You are learning to manage not your hands and feet, but your very attention. It's unfamiliar. It takes practice. From time to time, you will close the book with a feeling of being illuminated. And the next day, with a feeling of being back in the pit. That is also part of the process. Your task is not to walk this path perfectly. Your task is to walk it. With curiosity. With a readiness to conduct experiments on your own mind. Get ready. We are going inside. Into the laboratory of your mind. Are you ready to face your pink elephants and finally understand who is in charge here? Your guide, Piotr Garagulya. Part 1, Diagnosis. Your brain is not your ally. Chapter 1. The illusion of the master. Why you don't control your thoughts. Imagine you've spent your whole life in the cockpit of the most complex airplane. In front of you, hundreds of buttons, levers, and blinking screens. You reach for the control wheel, and the plane obediently performs your maneuver. You press a button, and the right light comes on. You are the master of the situation. You are the pilot. Now imagine that one day you discover a shocking truth. All these years, the control wheel and buttons were not connected to the plane's systems. It was a dummy, a mock-up created for your peace of mind. And the plane had been controlled all this time by an autopilot, programmed millions of years ago, whose logic you don't understand and whose decisions often go against your desires. You are not the pilot. You are a passenger who was given a non-working duplicate of the controls to play with. Roughly the same discovery awaits everyone who sincerely tries to take control of their inner world. The illusion of control is the foundation on which we build our self-image. And it is this foundation that we must carefully dismantle to build something more solid and real in its place. Case studies. I'm driving myself crazy. Let's look at situations familiar to everyone, which crystal clearly demonstrate the failure of our authority. Case 1, just relax. You are nervous before an important event. You tell yourself, calm down. Get a grip. What happens? The anxiety doesn't just go away. It intensifies, now fueled by anger at your own weakness. Your command was heard, but executed in the exact opposite way. Case 2, don't think about the bad stuff. A relative of yours was ill, and you, trying not to tempt fate, tried your hardest not to think about the worst. As a result, your mind turned into a horror movie theater, playing the most nightmarish scenarios. The more desperately you threw the thought out the door, the more brazenly it broke back in. Case 3, I need positive thinking. You decided to think positively. You started repeating mantras, giving yourself compliments, and visualizing success. But somewhere deep down, as background noise, that same quiet but confident voice continued to sound, this is all nonsense. You won't succeed. You're deceiving yourself. And that voice outweighed all your conscious efforts. What unites all these cases? In all of them, the conscious I, the one who gives the orders, turns out to be powerless. It is like a king who issues decrees but has no real army to enforce them. His power is a fiction. The evolutionary truth, the brain is made for survival, not for happiness. To understand why this happens, we need to take the most important step in this chapter, to stop personifying our brain as ourselves. Your brain is an organ. The most complex, genius, but an organ. Like a liver or a heart. It has its own, quite specific, functions. Its main and only task from an evolutionary point of view is to ensure your survival and the transmission of your genes. That's it. Happiness, peace, self-realization, harmony, these are not its concern. These are byproducts that sometimes occur if they don't interfere with the main task. And what is most important for survival? To foresee and avoid danger. Therefore, your brain is not an optimist. It is a paranoid pessimist. It is tuned to search for threats. It exaggerates risks. It would rather 1,000 times mistake a shadow for a tiger and waste resources on a false alarm, than once miss a real tiger and perish. Its main enemies are uncertainty and calm. Uncertainty is a field where a threat can hide. Calm is a state in which you can miss that threat. Therefore, your brain will constantly generate what if. And maintain a light, or strong, background anxiety in you. For it, this is not a disease. This is the standard operating mode. The paradox: the smarter the person, the more elaborate the brain is at creating nightmares, and here we face a cruel paradox. The more developed your neocortex, the human, the better your imagination, analytical abilities, and logic, the more elaborate nightmares your brain is capable of creating in an attempt to keep you safe. A primitive brain is afraid of a loud sound, a direct threat. The brain of a modern human with its developed cortex is afraid of, what will my colleagues think of me? Threat to social status, will I cope with this project? Threat to resources, will my partner leave me? Threat to reproductive success, what is the meaning of my life? Existential threat, inaccessible to other species, your intellect, your ability to model the future and analyze the past. This is the very weapon that your paranoid brain turns against you, drawing increasingly detailed and frightening pictures of possible threats. It does not distinguish between real physical danger and imaginary social danger. For the survival system, a threat is a threat. Summary: so, let's accept this difficult but liberating fact: you do not start from a position of strength. You start from a position of illusory strength. Your conscious I is not the captain of this ship. It is an important passenger who can make recommendations to the captain, the ancient survival mechanisms. But the captain has its own charter and its own, much more primitive, ideas about what well-being is. Attempting to give such a captain a forceful order, stop being afraid, is not just useless. It is harmful. It wastes your last strength and reinforces your powerlessness. But this is not a verdict. This is the beginning of the path. By accepting our initial weakness, we can finally begin to look for workarounds. We stop battering down a locked door and start looking for the key. And the key lies in understanding who is really steering the ship. Meet the crew, the turtle, the snake, and the human, lost in his own illusions. Chapter 2. The anatomy of the jailer, the three faces of your I. So, we have established that the captain of our ship is not us. At least, not the conscious, rational I we are used to considering ourselves. The ship is run by a committee. And this committee consists of three key figures, each older than human civilization, each guided by its own primitive but fail-safe instructions, and together they create the chaos we call the inner world. Let's get to know them better. Forget for a while about complex terms like amygdala or prefrontal cortex. Let's give them names and characters. This is not an oversimplification. It is creating a map to navigate the jungles of your own psyche. 1. The turtle, reptilian brain, the ancient guardian who it is, the most ancient, deep, primitive part of your brain. It is older than the dinosaurs. Its consciousness is the consciousness of a lizard. It does not think. It reacts. Instantly. Its motto: fight, flight, or freeze. Its main tasks: breathing, heartbeat, hunger, thirst, reproduction. Instant threat recognition and reaction. How it communicates: its language is pure physiology. Adrenaline in the blood. Rapid pulse. Muscle tension. A lump in the throat. It does not understand words. Words are just noise to it. It reads the world directly, through body signals and instincts. Key feature: it does not distinguish a mental image from physical reality. For the turtle, a bright, emotionally charged picture drawn by your imagination is not a fantasy. It is a fact. If you vividly imagine yourself disgracing yourself at a meeting, the turtle receives the signal, threat. Threat to status. And it launches the exact same program as when seeing a real predator: heart pounds, palms sweat, muscles tense. It prepares you to fight or flee from your own thought. When the turtle takes over, real-life examples panic attack. This is the pure, undiluted triumph of the turtle. Your consciousness, the human, is long gone. The body is ruled by an ancient instinct that saw a threat where there is none. Irrational fears and phobias. Fear of spiders, heights, enclosed spaces. These are ancient survival programs hardwired into the turtle, which trigger without consulting the human. Sudden outbursts of rage. That instant, animalistic anger when you snap. This is the turtle striking preemptively, attacking a perceived threat. The turtle is our foundation. Without it, we are dead. But when it comes out of its basement room and starts running the whole house, life becomes hell. 2. The snake, limbic system, the emotion factory who it is, built atop the turtle, is a younger, but no less ancient, structure. This is the factory of emotions. The realm of feelings. If the turtle gives a dangerous/safe reaction, the snake colors the world in thousands of shades: fear, anger, joy, sadness, disgust, shame, guilt. Its motto: remember what's good, and repeat. Remember what's bad, and avoid. Its main tasks: to create and regulate emotions. To mark memories and thoughts with emotional labels. To be the link between the primitive turtle and the rational human. How it communicates: its language is images and sensations. It does not think in words. It thinks in pictures, smells, muscle memories. It is the source of that emotional glue that sticks a thought to the wall of your consciousness. Key feature: it does not understand abstractions and negations. When you tell yourself don't think about failure, the snake does not hear the not. It hears the key, charged image, failure. And it dutifully marks it as very important. Linked to pain. And injects a cocktail of stress hormones into your system so you definitely don't miss this important information. Why it's so hard to forget an offense: the biochemical reason. An offense is not just a thought. It is a complex emotional cocktail mixed and poured throughout your neurons by the snake. It remembered not only the event but also the pain, anger, and humiliation. Every time you remember the offense, the snake doesn't just recall, it relives that cocktail, producing a new portion of stress hormones. You are not fighting a memory. You are fighting a biochemical factory operating in automatic mode. The snake is our emotional memory and our intuition. But when it starts to control logic, we turn into hysterical, illogical beings, hostages of our own feelings. 3. The human, neocortex, the thinking monkey with the illusion of control, who it is, the young, rational, analytical part. The one that is reading this text, making plans, analyzing, creating, and giving commands. This is our I, our conscious will. Our pride. Its motto: I think, therefore, I am in control. Its main tasks: logical thinking, analysis, planning. Voluntary attention, self-control. Speech, creativity, abstract thinking. How it communicates: its language is words, symbols, logical chains. It is a master of complex constructs. Key feature: it considers itself the boss, but it has no direct power over the turtle and the snake. It is a young manager hired into an ancient, established family firm. It can issue decrees, write beautiful reports, and build grand plans. But the old employees, the turtle and the snake, do things their own way, because they know how the firm has worked for the last millions of years and aren't about to change their habits for some upstart. The frontal assault on thoughts is its fatal mistake. When the human tries to suppress a thought by force of will, it makes a fatal error. It yells words at the turtle, which only understands physiology, and at the snake, which only understands images. As a result, its command "don't think" turns into a signal for the lower brain departments, attention. Think about this. It, wanting to put out a fire, pours gasoline on it. The human is our potential, our light of reason. But until it understands how to work with the other two committee members, it is doomed to the role of a powerless king who issues decrees without real power. Summary: now the picture becomes clearer. Inside you, there is not one eye. There are three control centers working in parallel. The turtle takes care of your physical survival, reacts. The snake takes care of your emotional experience, feels. The human takes care of your strategic future, thinks. The problem and the source of our anxiety is that they are poorly coordinated. They speak different languages and often sabotage each other. You cannot force the turtle to logically explain why it is afraid. You cannot persuade the snake with words to forget an offense. But you can understand their language and start negotiating with them. It is precisely this art, the art of internal diplomacy, that the following chapters will be devoted to. We will learn not to break down the door, but to find the keys to it. Chapter 3. The Pink Elephant Law, the relentless mechanics of the mental trap. Now that we've met the main characters, let's analyze the main crime they commit against our peace every day. We've already seen it in action in the introduction. Now let's look behind the scenes. Imagine a control center. In the center is the human, neocortex, our conscious operator. It receives a task, ensure psychological comfort. And then a potential threat appears on the radar, an annoying thought, a memory of failure, a fear of the future. What does a good operator do? It tries to eliminate the threat. It gives an internal command, putting all its willpower into it: attention. Do not think about a pink elephant. And here is what happens in the system, step by step. 1. Step 1, the human's order. The command, containing the negation "not," is formulated in the speech center. The human is sure it is clear and understandable. 2. Step 2, glitch at the snake level. The command reaches the limbic system. But the snake does not work with abstractions. Its processor is not designed to process the particle "not." It snatches the brightest, most emotionally charged image from the command. What is the brightest word here? Elephant. And the most unusual? Pink. Result: instead of a command to avoid, the snake gets the signal, important image. Elephant. Pink. Unusual. Mark as potentially dangerous. It immediately marks this image with an attention label and injects the first, light dose of stress hormones, cortisol, into the system to attract brain resources. 3. Step 3, alarm at the turtle. This hormonal signal and the vague image of danger reach the reptilian brain. The turtle sees no difference between external and internal threats. It receives the data, elevated cortisol plus unidentified image equals threat. Result: the turtle declares a state of heightened combat readiness. It launches a scanning program, threat. Find the elephant. It forces all brain systems to search for, identify, and hold in focus this very image in order to neutralize it. 4. Step 4, the finale, the system's triumph. The brain, obeying ancient instincts, loads the most detailed image of a pink elephant it can create into your field of consciousness. It does this not out of malice. It does this to perform its direct function, to find and neutralize the threat. And here it is, the elephant. It is inside you. You, the human, are horrified. You did everything right. You gave a clear order. And in response, you got what you were trying to get rid of. Your conscious will was used against you. Your energy, directed at banishing the thought, was perceived as a command to search for and activate it. Why not is invisible to the ancient parts of the brain. This is not a metaphor. It is an architectural limitation. The reptile brain and the limbic system evolved long before the emergence of complex speech. Their language is the world of concreteness, images, sounds, sensations. Negation is a complex linguistic and logical construct, accessible only to the neocortex. For the snake and turtle, the words "don't be afraid" sound as meaningless as the command "don't think about gravity." They only hear "be afraid" and "gravity." The white monkey effect, how social taboos work by the same law. This mechanism is not limited to the psychologist's office. It works everywhere there is a prohibition. A teenager whose strict parent says, "just don't get involved with that crowd," has their brain immediately marked that crowd as something super important and interesting. A person on a diet who tells themselves, "don't look at the pastries," finds it almost impossible to look away from the confectionery window. You, before an important speech, when you whisper to yourself, "just don't stammer, don't say, your speech center receives a powerful signal from the snake with the keyword stammer and The stronger the emotional charge behind the prohibition, fear, shame, guilt, the more powerfully this law works. You are not just prohibiting an action for yourself. You are creating a powerful mental magnet for it. Summary: the pink elephant law is formulated as follows: the energy directed at suppressing or banishing a thought only empowers that thought, captures your attention, and makes the thought return again and again. The attempt to not think is not a solution. It is a catalyst for the problem. It is the repeat button on the internal projector. Understanding this, we can finally stop the useless civil war. We realize that our main enemy is not the thought itself, but our blind resistance to it. From this moment on, we cease to be fighters warring with windmills. We become strategists. We will no longer yell at the turtle and the snake. We will learn to speak their language. And the first, most important step in this is not struggle, but capitulation. A surrender that is the beginning of a true victory. It is precisely this, the art of unconditional surrender, that our next chapter and the first practical key from the cage will be devoted to. Part 3, 3 Keys to the Cage. Chapter 4. Key 1, the art of unconditional surrender. Imagine you've fallen into quicksand. The more you struggle, trying to get out, the more it sucks you in. The only way to save yourself is to stop struggling. Lie on your back, spread your arms, and allow the sand to accept you. Paradoxically, this stops the sinking and allows you, slowly and smoothly, to get out onto solid ground. It's the same with obsessive thoughts. The struggle against them is the quicksand of your psyche. Capitulation is the only path to freedom. But the surrender we are talking about is not defeat. It is a tactical regrouping. It is a conscious refusal to fight a battle that is inherently unwinnable because you are fighting against the fundamental laws of nature. You cannot cancel gravity by force of will, and you cannot cancel the pink elephant law by force of will. The philosophy of capitulation, why surrender is not defeat, but the greatest tactic your inner human is used to the role of commander. It wants to control, manage, win. But, as we have found out, its power over the turtle and snake is an illusion. Therefore, its attempts to defeat a thought are doomed. Capitulation is a role change. It is a transition from a commander giving orders to subordinates, who don't listen to him, to a scientist observer. A scientist does not fight the weather. He does not scream at a hurricane to stop. He observes it. He studies it. He records its parameters. And it is this knowledge that ultimately allows him to build shelters and predict the hurricane's path so as not to get hit. Your new, liberating mantra sounds like this: I cannot control which thoughts come into my head. But I can control my relationship with them. You acknowledge that you do not control the flow of thoughts. But you proclaim your right to decide how to respond to this flow. This is an act of gaining real, not illusory, power. The acknowledgement and naming technique, an in-depth breakdown. This is not just positive thinking. It is a structured mental act that produces a fundamental shift in your consciousness. Its goal is to create distance between you, the observer, and the thought, the object. Step 1, Detection. Aha, it's here. As soon as you notice that an obsessive thought has captured your attention, don't rush to fight it. You simply register its appearance. Calmly, like a radar detecting an airplane in the sky. The key phrase is aha. This word marker switches you from fighter mode to observer mode. Thought, I will disgrace myself at the meeting. Your reaction, aha. Step 2, Classification. This is a catastrophe thought. Now you don't dive into the content of the thought. You take a step back and give it a classification. Like a scientist classifying an insect, not yuck, how disgusting. But a beetle of the Scarabaeidae family. You already know the main types of mental parasites from Chapter 2. Use this. Thought, I will disgrace myself at the meeting. Your reaction, aha. This is a catastrophe thought. Step 3, Distancing. I notice that I have the thought. This is the most important step. You say to yourself, or out loud, a full, distancing phrase. You separate yourself from the thought. Thought, I will disgrace myself at the meeting. Your reaction, aha. This is a catastrophe thought. I notice that I have the thought that I will disgrace myself at the meeting. Say this last phrase and feel the difference. Between I will disgrace myself and I have the thought that I will disgrace myself, there is a chasm. In the first case, you are the thought. In the second case, you are the one observing the thought. Exercises for practicing the key, the observer's journal. Keep a notebook. During the day, when you catch yourself on an obsessive thought, write it down according to the scheme. Time, 3:30 p.m. Parasitic thought, my friend is angry with me because I didn't reply to the message. Classification, profit thought, mind reading. Distancing phrase, I noticed that I had the thought that my friend is angry with me. Effect, write down what you felt after the procedure. Felt easier, the thought receded, remained but doesn't bother as much. Mental sorting. Mentally sort thoughts into folders. Imagine a drawer with files, anxiety about the future, shame about the past, anger at a colleague, worry about health. As soon as a thought comes, mentally put it in the corresponding folder. This action shifts the focus from the emotional charge of the thought to its administrative classification, which instantly reduces the intensity. Beginner mistakes, fighting the evaluation. Don't scold yourself if the thought doesn't disappear instantly after distancing. Your goal is not to stop the thought, but to change your relationship with it. If it continues to spin, just continue to notice it without getting involved. Trying to force yourself not to think. Remember, this is an acceptance technique, not a suppression technique. If you catch yourself using it as a new way to fight, stop. Return to the aha step from a position of curiosity. Summary: the first key is the most difficult because it requires humility. It requires admitting that you are not all-powerful. But it is the cornerstone of all further work. By applying the acknowledgement and naming technique, you do something genius. You stop feeding the demon of resistance. You deprive it of its main food, your struggle with it. You simply look at it, call it by name, and from your calm, non-judgmental gaze, it begins to lose its power. You cease to be an actor thrashing about on stage. You become a spectator in the audience. And who is in charge in the theater? The one who watches the play, not the one being pulled by the strings. You have just defused the gunpowder in the cartridge. The bullet, the thought, is still there, but it can no longer fire and wound you. Now that you have immobilized the opponent, we can move on to the second key, a technique that will reboot your system and return you from the virtual nightmare to the tangible, real world. Chapter 5. Key 2, the magic of reality. You have defused the mental mind by acknowledging its existence. Now you need to take the next step, return home. Home is not the past, not the future, but the only place where you truly exist, the present moment. The here and now. The thought parasite, like a virus, lives in virtual reality. It feeds on the ghosts of the past, I disgraced myself, and the chimeras of the future, I will disgrace myself. Its power is power over what does not exist. Your task is to strike this virtual world with the densest and most undeniable matter, objective reality. This is done through the technique of embodiment or grounding. Imagine you are being pulled into a vortex of a nightmare. The grounding technique is a strong hand that grabs you and, with one jerk, returns you to your body, to the room you are sitting in, to the sound surrounding you. The power of here and now, why the present moment is the main enemy of anxiety. Anxiety and obsessive thoughts cannot exist in the present moment in their full force. They need temporal space, the past to dig through mistakes, or the future to build catastrophic scenarios. The present moment is too small, cramped, and specific for them. Right now, this very second, as you read this text, you are most likely fine. No one is attacking you. The roof over your head is not collapsing. When you shift your focus to the here and now, you literally deprive anxiety of its footing. You pull the plug from the socket powering the projector of your nightmares. The grounding technique, extended protocol. This is not distraction. Distraction is when you try to switch to another thought or activity to escape from an unpleasant one. Grounding is not an escape. It is a reboot of your brain's operating system. You force it to switch from the abstract, simulated world of threats it has created to the raw, pure data of reality coming through the senses. Option A, Express method, 30 seconds, for emergencies. Use it when you feel that panic or an obsessive thought is about to overwhelm you. The 3-2-1 rule, name 3 things you see. Don't just glance, but truly become aware of them. I see my cup with a black handle. I see the shadow from the flower on the table. I see a nick on the edge of the table. Name 2 things you hear. I hear the hum of the refrigerator. I hear my own inhalation and exhalation. Name 1 thing you feel, tactily. I feel the coolness of the phone's glass in my hand. I feel the fabric of the t-shirt touching my back. Do this, and you will feel the grip of anxiety weaken. You have returned to your body. Option B, deep immersion, 5 minutes, for daily practice or a strong attack, sit or lie down in a comfortable position. Mentally, slowly and sequentially, run your attention through your entire body and senses. Ask yourself questions and answer them in detail. 1. What do I feel with my skin? Tactile sensations, I feel the coolness of the chair under my thighs. I feel the roughness of the denim fabric on my knees. I feel the soles of my feet fully planted on the floor. I feel a light breath of air from the air conditioner on my face. I feel how my tongue lies on the roof of my mouth. 2. What do I hear with my ears? Auditory sensations, I hear the quiet hum of the laptop processor. I hear the distant honk of a car outside the window. I hear my own breathing, the faint whistle of air on the inhale and exhale. I hear the chair creak. I hear the beating of my own heart, if it's very quiet. 3. What do I see with my eyes? Visual sensations, I see my cup. It is white, with a blue logo, from which a small crack runs. I see how the light from the lamp falls on the keyboard and illuminates the letters, A and O. I see the texture of the wood on the table. I see a dust particle floating in a beam of light. I see my hand lying on the book, and its shadow. 4. What do I feel with my body? Proprioception, the sensation of the body in space, I feel the weight of my body pressing down on the chair. I feel tension in my shoulders. I feel warmth in my palms. I feel how my chest expands and contracts in the rhythm of my breathing. Exercises for integration into life, the observer's walk. Go outside with the one and only goal, to notice. Not to think, not to plan, not to remember. Only to notice. The color of a sign. A reflection in a puddle. The expression on a passerby's face. The texture of bark on a tree. You will be amazed at how rich and interesting the world is from which your thoughts have been pulling you away. Mindful tea drinking/eating. Turn a routine into a practice. When drinking tea, feel the warmth of the cup, sense the aroma, trace the taste on your tongue, feel the liquid flowing down your throat. When eating, do it slowly, noting the texture, temperature, taste of each bite. You will not only calm your mind but also discover a new sensory experience. Why it works. Neuroscience. In simple terms, the brain is a machine with limited bandwidth. It cannot simultaneously process two competing streams of information with high intensity: the sensory stream, what you actually see, hear, feel, and the conceptual stream, complex thought constructs, nightmare scenarios. When you launch the grounding technique, you direct all the brain's resources to process the sensory stream. You literally clog the data transmission channel with reality. There is simply no capacity left for building virtual nightmares. The brain is forced to loosen its grip. And in that moment, you are free. Summary: the second key is your emergency switch in your daily tonic. It is a direct antidote to the virtual poison of obsessive thoughts. You are not running away from the problem. You are rebooting the system to return to it, if it even remains, from a position of strength, not panic. You ground the current of anxiety, discharging it into the ground of reality. You are not a helpless passenger in a car rushing into an abyss. You are the driver who can grab the wheel and sharply swerve onto the solid shoulder of the here and now to catch your breath and get your bearings. And for those cases when even this powerful key seems fragile, we have saved the most sophisticated weapon, the third key, which uses the very nature of your brain against itself. Chapter 6. Key 3, The Alchemy of Attention. There are moments when the demon is so strong that the first two keys seem like child's toys. The thought digs its claws in, doesn't want to leave, and you feel how grounding works only halfway, and the voice of the observer is drowned out by the roar of the internal storm. What to do when the enemy surpasses you in strength? Correct, change tactics. Don't engage in a head-on confrontation, but use the enemy's energy against itself. This is the principle of cognitive judo. We will not fight the demon. We will change the scenery around it. We will come from the rear and pull the rug out from under its feet, changing the rules of the game it has been so successfully following. The context-switching technique. The essence of the technique is simple: you do not challenge the thought. You do not try to replace it with a positive one. You simply give your brain another, completely irrelevant and often absurd task. You redirect the mighty river of anxiety into another, safe channel. Option A, the absurd question. This is a direct application of the judo principle. The brain, captured by anxiety, demands to solve an important problem. You give it a problem, but make it so ridiculous that it hangs for a second, trying to switch. Thought: I'm good for nothing, I'm a complete failure. Your actions: 1. Apply key 1, briefly aha. This is a thought about my inadequacy. 2. Apply key 2, for a second I feel warmth in my palms. I hear the ticking of a clock. 3. Apply key 3, and ask yourself a question that has no relation to your thought. How many teeth does an adult human have? Brain: what? 32. No, with wisdom teeth. What was the name of my childhood cat? Brain: Vaska. No, Barsic. If Pushkin lived in our time, what would his social media nickname be? Brain: Kodakenianline. How many windows are in my entrance hallway? The brain starts mentally climbing the stairs and counting. The absurdity and neutrality of this question produce a short circuit of the obsessive cycle. The neural pathways through which the lava of anxiety was rushing are blocked. The brain is forced to switch cognitive resources to a non-standard task. A pattern interrupt occurs. And in this moment of silence, this rupture, you gain control. Option B, modality switching. This is a more subtle but no less powerful method. It is based on translating the thought from one system of perception to another. If the thought was in words, endless internal dialogue, translate it into an image. And make this image deliberately ridiculous. Thought, my boss hates me. Action, vividly imagine your boss in a pink elephant costume, clumsily dancing ballet in the middle of the office. Put a tutu on him. Color his nose green. If the thought was in images, nightmarish pictures, flashbacks, describe it in words, like a dry protocol. Thought, a vivid image of your own failure. Action, start describing it from the point of view of an outside observer, devoid of emotions. A person of average height is in a room. Their posture indicates muscle tension. The face of another person opposite is contorted in a grimace. The sound vibrations of the air have an increased amplitude. This linguistic translation drains the emotional charge, turning a living nightmare into a set of lifeless data. Exercises for honing your skill, creating a deck of absurdity. Your home preparation. Take a notebook and compile a personal list of 10 to 15 absurd questions and tasks. Carry it with you, on your phone or on paper. When anxiety attacks, you won't have to think of anything, just open the list and pick any. Examples: how much does a cloud weigh? What color was the door of my first apartment? If my melancholy were an animal, what would it be? Sing the verse, a Christmas tree was born in the forest, backwards to yourself. The mental click. Create an anchor. Decide that a certain action, for example, snapping your fingers or mentally saying the word transformation, will be the signal for an immediate context switch. At first, you do this consciously, but after many repetitions, the brain will learn to switch almost automatically by this signal. Why this is not escapism, but redirection. It is important to understand, this is not cowardly flight from a problem. It is a strategic maneuver. You are not running away from the battlefield. You are changing the battlefield to one where you have a tactical advantage. You acknowledge that on the field of serious problems and catastrophes, your paranoid brain is stronger. So you lure it onto the field of absurdity and neutral tasks, where its might is useless, and your ability for creativity and play gives you full control. Summary: the third key is your magic. It is the power to change the rules of the internal game. If the first key taught you not to fight, and the second, to return to reality, then the third key allows you to actively transform the internal chaos, turning it into something neutral or even funny. You are no longer a victim of your own psyche. You are its director. And if your brain decides to stage a horror movie in your head, you can always press pause and switch the channel to a comedy or a nature documentary. And now that you have a full set of tools, it's time to assemble them into a single, working system. It's time to create your personal liberation algorithm that you can apply in any, even the most acute, situation. Which is what we will do in the next chapter. Chapter 7. The secret key, the question to silence. We have come a long way. We learned not to fight thoughts by observing them. We learn to return from the virtual nightmare to reality by grounding ourselves in sensations. We learn to deceive the mind by feeding it absurd tasks. But there is another level. A profound one. The one where the very source of our I resides. This key is not just a technique. It is a direct pointer to who you really are. The philosophical basis: who is the one listening to these thoughts? Conduct a small experiment. Voice any thought to yourself, for example, the weather is great today. Now ask yourself the question, who heard this thought? Don't rush to give a smart answer. Don't say I. That's just a word, a label. Press your attention into the listener itself. Into the one who is aware of the very fact of this thought's appearance. Into the one in whose space of consciousness this thought arose, sounded, and disappeared. This listener is not a thought. It is that which was before the thought, during the thought, and will remain after it. It is awareness itself, pure consciousness, the background against which your entire inner cinema unfolds. The question to silence technique. This practice is a way to sharply shift the focus from the object, the thought, to the subject, the one who is aware. 1. Step 1. Detecting the invasion. When an obsessive thought washes over you like a wave, or when you simply catch yourself in an endless internal dialogue, take a micro-pause. 2. Step 2. The deep question. Ask yourself an internal question that does not require a logical, verbal answer. Ask it with sincere curiosity, as if you were asking about something for the first time in your life. Who is hearing this right now? Ask and stop. Don't look for an answer in words. Don't say it's me. That's a thought. You are not looking for the thought, but for the one who stands behind the thought. Transfer all your attention from the content of the thought to the listener itself. 3. Step 3. The shift in awareness. In the moment you try to see or feel the one who hears the thought, an almost magical shift occurs. Your consciousness, like a camera's focus, switches from the object to the subject. You cease to be the problem and become the space in which the problem arises. The thought may continue, but it loses its power. It becomes just a sound coming from the other end of an empty room. It is no longer you. You are the room. Why it works, and its magic. This question is not an intellectual riddle. It is a tool for instant awakening from the hypnosis of identification with thoughts. You literally yank your sense of I out of the thought and return it home, to pure, silent awareness. You cease to be a person who has a problem and become boundless consciousness that simply witnesses the amusing play of the mind called a problem. Ideal application: insomnia and the night bug. This key is especially powerful when the mind refuses to shut down, before sleep, when you wake up in the middle of the night, or in moments of acute panic. Situation: you are lying in bed. Inside, mental chatter, dialogues, scenarios. The more you try to sleep, the stronger the anxiety. Wrong action: fight, try to clear the mind, get angry at yourself. Right action: apply the question to silence. 1. Lie still. 2. Mentally ask, who cannot sleep? 3. Ask, who is hearing this sleepless chatter in the head? 4. Press your attention into that listener. Feel it. It is not fighting. It simply is. It is the silence in which thoughts are noisy. Result: a deep calming occurs. You are no longer fighting for sleep. You are the space in which sleep can arise. And often this relaxed, non-struggling state is enough for sleep to come on its own. The night watch exercise: practice this technique while lying in bed. Your task is not to fall asleep, although that often happens. Your task is simply to stand guard as pure awareness. You are the night watchman, observing thoughts passing by like nighttime passers-by. You do not engage in dialogue with them. You do not evaluate them. You simply ask your sentry question from time to time: who is observing here, and return to a state of silent, vigilant presence. Summary: the secret key is the quintessence of the entire system. It does not cancel the 3 previous keys but places them in the correct context. The techniques of acknowledgement, grounding, and context switching are actions that you, as the observer, can take. And the question to silence is a direct reminder of who you really are. You are not the voice in your head. You are the silence that hears it. You are not the thought. You are the space in which it arises. You are not the problem. You are the awareness that witnesses it. And when you touch this truth, even for a moment, the magic happens by itself. The stream of thoughts doesn't go away. It simply loses its power over you because you are no longer in it. You are on the shore, watching the river of anxieties flow by. Chapter 8. Assembling the tools: when and which key to use. So, you now have a full arsenal. 4 keys, each of which opens the door to freedom in its own way. But the most frequent question that arises at this stage is, where do I start? You can't make a mistake: any action is better than inaction, but there is a path that leads to victory faster and more reliably. Let's create your personal liberation instruction. Diagnosis: who is at the helm now? Before grabbing a key, determine which member of your internal triumvirate has currently seized power. Ask yourself, if you have a rapid heartbeat, trembling hands, a lump in your throat, want to curl into a ball or run, the turtle is at the helm. The fight, flight, or freeze mode is activated. If you are overwhelmed by emotions, fear, rage, resentment, shame, if you can't stop replaying the same unpleasant situation, the snake is at the helm. It has spilled its emotional glue. If you are obsessively analyzing, building dialogues in your head, trying to find a solution, but it only leads to greater tension, the human is lost. It is trying to solve the problem logically but is only adding fuel to the fire. Having identified the culprit, you choose the most effective weapon. The emergency aid algorithm, your plan for an attack. This is a step-by-step instruction for an acute anxiety attack or obsessive thought. Act strictly in order. Step 0, the secret key, instant distancing action. As soon as you realize you're being sucked in, ask the internal question, who is hearing this right now? Goal: instantly shift the focus from the content of the thought to the one who is aware of it. Create initial distance. This is your lifeline that will stop the immediate immersion. Step 1, Key 1, acknowledgement and naming action. Calmly and neutrally confirm the fact, aha. I have the thought that. Or I feel anxiety coming on. Goal: legalize what is happening. Stop the struggle. Switch to observer mode. This diffuses the gunpowder in the cartridge. Step 2, Key 2 or 3, system reboot. Now that you've created distance and stopped fighting, choose a tactic for rebooting. Choose Key 2, grounding. If you feel strong physical symptoms, panic, trembling. The thought is too strong and an absurd question seems impossible. You are in a public place and need to quickly compose yourself. What to do: apply the 3-2-1 technique or start scanning body sensations. Choose Key 3, context switching. If the thought is of the mental chewing gum type, not very emotional but very obsessive. You have already calmed down a bit after the first steps, but the thought continues to spin. You have the opportunity to step aside a little and focus. What to do: ask yourself an absurd question from your deck or apply modality switching. Analysis of real cases. Case 1, panic attack in the subway. Symptoms: rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, thoughts I'm going to die now, desire to run. The turtle is at the helm. Your actions: 1. Secret key: who is feeling all this right now? Shift to awareness. 2. Key 1, aha. I'm having a panic attack. I feel my heart pounding. Acknowledgement. 3. Key 2, emergency grounding. I see 3 blue seats. I hear 2 different voices. I feel the coolness of the handrail in my hand. Return to reality. Outcome: physical symptoms will begin to subside as the brain switches from catastrophic thoughts to processing sensory information. Case 2, endless ruminating on a conflict with the boss. Symptoms: rage, resentment, internal dialogues about what you should have said, mental predictions of revenge. The snake is at the helm. Your actions: 1. Secret key: who is observing this rage? Disidentification. 2. Key 1, interesting. A revenge thought and a strong feeling of anger have just come to me. Naming. 3. Key 3, absurd question: if my boss were a character from Smeshuriki, who would he be? Pattern interrupt. Outcome: the emotional charge of the thought will be neutralized by its absurdization. You will break out of the vicious circle. Case 3, insomnia due to work thoughts. Symptoms: tossing and turning, the brain makes plans, analyzes the past day, worries about tomorrow. The lost human is at the helm. Your actions: 1. Secret key: who cannot sleep? Who is hearing these thoughts? Press into the listener. 2. Key 1 optional. You can go straight to the practice. 3. Night watch exercise. Lie down and simply observe the thoughts as an outside observer, periodically returning to the question, who is here? Outcome: the struggle for sleep ceases. You relax into the role of the observer, and sleep comes naturally. Summary: now you don't just have a set of techniques. You have a system. An algorithm that works in 99% of situations. First, you always ask the deep question to remind yourself who you are. Then you acknowledge the enemy to disarm it. And finally, you choose a reboot tactic, either through the body, grounding, or through playing with the mind, context switching. The more often you apply this algorithm, the faster it will become your new, automatic reaction. You will turn from a hostage of your thoughts into a skillful conductor of your inner orchestra, who knows which instrument to use when it starts playing out of tune. Part 4, Integration, Life in the Role of the Observer. Chapter 9. Ecology of the Mind, How to Create an Environment Where Demons Have Nothing to Feed On. Until now, we have been like firefighters learning to put out already blazing fires of obsessive thoughts. But a brilliant firefighter is one who prevents fires. Who creates an environment where the fire simply has nothing to feed on. Your mind is not an isolated fortress. It is an ecosystem, open to the external world. And right now, it is under total attack. We live in an era of informational smog, where anxiety, negativity, and degradation are not a side effect, but often the main product. Social media, news feeds, toxic forums, this is not just information. This is mental fast food, stuffed with flavor enhancers in the form of anger, fear, and judgment. By consuming this, you let hordes of pink elephants on steroids into your inner world. With your own hands, you lay mines on the field of your consciousness, which you will then step on for weeks. Mental hygiene is not an option for esotericists. It is a matter of survival for a thinking person in the 21st century. Your new mantra: I am not a trash can. I am a temple. Practices of Mental Ecology. 1. Information Diet. Unsubscribe from everything that causes you even the slightest spark of anxiety, irritation, or feeling of inadequacy. Your feed is your choice. Fill it with what inspires, teaches, and gives peace. You wouldn't consciously eat spoiled food, would you? Don't consume spoiled information. 2. Digital detox. Introduce a Sabbath into your life, at least a few hours a day, or better, a whole day on the weekend, when you are disconnected from news and social media. Suddenly, you will discover that many important and urgent thoughts simply evaporate without external fueling. 3. Creating rituals. The mind loves rhythm. Create a morning and evening ritual unrelated to gadgets. 10 minutes of silence with tea, looking out the window. A short walk. Writing down thoughts in a journal. This is brushing your teeth for your mind. Remember, a calm mind is not a given, it is the result of a daily conscious choice. You either build a garden for your consciousness or let it become overgrown with weeds. Chapter 10. The Roots of Demons. What to do when the pink elephant is just a symptom. It happens like this: you apply all the keys. The thought recedes. But after a day, a week, a month, it returns. The same one. As if this pink elephant has its own passport and residence permit in your head. Congratulations. You have encountered not just a thought parasite. You have encountered a core belief. A core belief is not a thought. It is the foundation upon which thoughts are built. It's not "I will disgrace myself." It is "I am inadequate, I am unworthy of love, the world is dangerous." In this case, the pink elephant is just a symptom. Like a cough with pneumonia. You can suppress the cough with pills, our keys, but to recover, you need to treat the disease itself. How to recognize a core belief? Ask yourself, what would I have to believe for this thought to seem true to me? Thought: I will disgrace myself at the meeting. Question: What would I have to believe for this to be true? Answer, possible that I am incompetent and that any mistake of mine will be fatal to my reputation. There it is, the root. The belief in one's own incompetence. Working with core beliefs is delicate work. It's not about replacing negative with positive. It's about investigating where this belief comes from and, like an experienced sapper, carefully defusing it. In my book The Mind Transformer, I detail the most powerful techniques for this work, how to identify these hidden programs, challenge them with ironclad logic, and rewrite them, creating a new, solid foundation for your personality. Here, in the context of the pink elephant law, your task is to recognize the difference. Understand that if a thought returns again and again, it means you are dealing not with an ordinary offender, but with a mafia boss sitting in the underground and sending his soldiers upstairs. And your strategy must change from apprehension to search and neutralize the ringleader. Chapter 11. The Shadow That Knocks. What if your demon is you? Now get ready for the most powerful and frightening twist. What if the thought you are so desperately trying to banish is not an enemy? What if it is a lost part of yourself? Your shadow. The concept of the shadow, introduced by Carl Jung, states, it is everything in us that we consider bad, unacceptable, shameful. Our aggression, our lust, our vanity, our laziness. What we have suppressed in ourselves and disowned. But the suppressed does not mean destroyed. The shadow does not disappear. It finds workarounds. And one of them is to appear to you in the form of obsessive, frightening, not my own thoughts. A person who has suppressed all anger will be tormented by obsessive thoughts of violence. One who denies their sexual desires will be attacked by lewd images. One who plays the role of a saint will be haunted by nightmares of their own depravity. Your brain, trying to restore the integrity of the personality, slips you the rejected parts in the form of ugly pink elephants. It's as if it's shouting, "Hey, boss. Look at this. This is also you. Accept it, otherwise I will throw it at you again and again until you break." What to do if you suspect you're dealing with the shadow? 1. Stop the fight. Fighting the shadow is like trying to cut off your own leg. It's painful and useless. 2. Ask a different question. Not how do I get rid of this? But what is this thought teaching me? What part of me does it represent? 3. Thank your demon. Yes, exactly. Say inwardly, thank you for knocking. I hear you. I'm not ready to accept you right now, but I acknowledge that you are a part of me. 4. Get curious. Study your shadow. What does it want? What is it angry about? What is it afraid of? Often, the mere act of non-judgmental observation of the shadow, using our keys, turns it from a monster under the bed into simply a lost and frightened child. This is the most difficult, but also the most transformative level of work. When you stop being a hunter of your inner demons and become their researcher, a miracle happens. They cease to be demons. They return to the bosom of your personality, making you not a truncated, one-sided being, but a whole, genuine human. It is in this wholeness that the ultimate, irrevocable freedom is born. Chapter 12. The Biology of Peace, How to Trick Your Brain's Chemistry and Create an Inner Pharmacy of Happiness. Let's be frank. Everything you feel, that terror gripping your throat, that frantic race of thoughts, is not just psychology. It is chemistry. Pure, ruthless, and precise. Your brain is not a mysterious substance. It is the most complex biochemical factory in the universe. And right now, against your will, it is operating in emergency mode, churning out a batch of fear. The apocalypse cocktail, what your anxiety is made of: cortisol, the anxiety hormone. This is the conductor of your stress orchestra. It makes your heart pound, prepares your muscles to flee, and screams to your body, alarm. Attention. Adrenaline, the panic hormone. This is fuel for the turtle. It is injected into the blood so you can fight or run. But when its source is not a real tiger, but a thought about disgrace, it turns into a poison that eats away at you from the inside. Dopamine, the agitation hormone. Yes, it's not just about pleasure. In a state of stress, it creates a loop of obsessive threat-seeking. Your brain looks for danger, finds it, even if imagined, gets a dopamine hit of "I warned you," and looks again. It's a drug of self-reinforcing anxiety. The good news, you can become the director of this factory. You cannot just put out fires, but retool the conveyor belt to produce calm, confidence, and clarity. Practices for hacking brain biochemistry. 1. Breathing, your emergency switch. The box breathing technique: inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts. Repeat 5 to 10 times. Why it works: this directly affects the vagus nerve, which gives the turtle the command, stand down. Alarm over. Cortisol levels drop before your eyes. 2. Movement, burning off adrenaline. Adrenaline is physiology. It cannot be convinced. It must be used up. You don't have to run a marathon. 5 minutes of burpees, 20 squats, fast walking up the stairs. Give the body what it's asking for, movement. You will burn off excess adrenaline and give the brain the signal that the threat has passed. 3. Brain nutrition, creating a hostile environment for elephants. Magnesium, a natural relaxant. Dark chocolate, nuts, bananas. Omega-3, building material for healthy neurons. Fatty fish, flaxseed oil. Cut out sugar. Sugar is a roller coaster for cortisol. A sharp rise and an equally sharp fall, which the brain perceives as a new threat. You are not fighting thoughts. You are changing the chemical composition of the soil in which they grow. Make it infertile for anxiety. Chapter 13. Relationship Psychohygiene, How Not to Catch Others' Anxiety and Set Mental Boundaries. Pink elephants have a superpower: they are contagious. You can have a perfect morning, applying all the keys, come to a state of peace. And then walk into the office, call your mother, or glance at social media. And within 10 minutes, you're shaking from someone else's panic, irritation, or negativity. You are not a trash can for other people's emotions. You are a temple. And every temple has a door and walls. The invisible shield technique, mental shielding. 1. Before entering a potentially toxic environment, a meeting, a conversation with a toxic relative, reading a feed, imagine that you are surrounded by a sphere of cool, shimmering light. It is impermeable to mental and emotional garbage but completely transparent to information and common sense. 2. Mentally state an affirmation: I accept only the information that is useful for my goals. Others' emotions and judgments remain outside my field. 3. During communication, periodically check the integrity of your shield. If you feel you're being pierced, mentally renew it. The decontamination technique, cleansing after contact. You can't always live behind a shield. After difficult communication, you need to cleanse yourself. 1. The draining visualization. Stand up, close your eyes. Imagine that all the foreign negativity, tension, and others' elephants are a dark liquid covering you from head to toe. Now visualize it draining downward, through the soles of your feet, and going deep into the earth, where it is neutralized. 2. The water ritual. Literally. Wash your hands up to the elbows and splash your face with cool water. Wash away not only dirt but also the energetic residue of the interaction. Tell yourself, I wash away everything that is not mine and return to myself. You are not obligated to be a sponge absorbing the pain of the whole world. Your peace is your main resource. Guard it like the apple of your eye. Chapter 14. Anti-fragility of consciousness, How to Turn Stress into Fuel for Growth. The fight against stress is an outdated paradigm. It makes you fragile. You spend energy resisting the inevitable. But what if you could become not just resilient, like a stone, but anti-fragile? Like the immune system, which, upon encountering a virus, becomes only stronger. What if your anxiety is not an enemy, but a stupid, yet incredibly strong Mustang? You don't need to kill it. You need to saddle it and direct its energy where you want it to go. The alchemy of emotions, transmuting poison into nectar from panic to focus. Energy, a whirlwind of thoughts, trembling, inability to sit still. Transformation question, what do I need to pay close attention to right now? Action, direct this trembling energy to one, specific, small task. Clean out a desk drawer. Make a simple list. Concentrate on it as if your life depended on it. From rage to resolve. Energy, a desire to smash, break, scream. Transformation question, what boundaries of mine were violated? And what am I willing to decisively do to protect them? Action, write an angry letter, without sending it. Formulate your terms. Create an action plan for defending your interests. Turn destructive energy into a constructive force for building your own rules. From fear to prudence. Energy, stiffness, a desire to hide. Transformation question, from what real danger is this fear trying to save me? And what plan B can I create? Action, fear makes you see a catastrophe. Make it work for you. Create a clear, step-by-step action plan in case the worst-case scenario materializes. You won't get rid of the fear, but you will disarm its main trump card, uncertainty. You are not suppressing the storm. You are setting sails on it. Chapter 15. The Da Vinci Code, deciphering the messages of your psyche. Your psyche is not a sadist that torments you with nightmares and obsessive thoughts for no reason. It is a genius, but mute, artist. It cannot tell you directly, hey, you have issues with self-esteem. Instead, it paints you a picture where you are naked, speaking in front of an audience. Every pink elephant and nightmare is not garbage. It is an encrypted message. And you have the honor of being its decoder. The Decoder Practicum 1. Keep a cipher journal. Record not just dreams or thoughts, but images, sensations, and symbols. Not I dreamed I was late, but I dreamed of a train station, huge clocks, I was running on a slippery platform, felt a chilling fear. 2. Ask questions of each key symbol. Take a central image, for example, slippery platform. Ask yourself, what does slippery mean to me? Where in my life do I feel I have no reliable support? What is a platform for me? A place of waiting, transition. What am I moving from and to in my life right now? 3. Connect the meanings. Train station, place of transition, plus slippery platform, no support, plus being late, fear of missing opportunities, equals my unconscious is worried that in this transitional period of my life, I have no solid ground under my feet, and I'm afraid I won't keep up with my own goals. There it is. The message is decoded. Now you have not a meaningless nightmare, but a clear diagnosis and a direction for work. Your psyche speaks to you in the language of metaphors. Learn to listen. And then you will understand that the most intrusive pink elephant was just a cry for help. From you to yourself. Epilogue, the journey is only beginning once. On the first pages of this book, you were a prisoner. A prisoner of the voices in your own head, a tyrant to yourself. You clenched your fists and fought the windmills of your thoughts, exhausting yourself in a battle that was inherently unwinnable. Now you know the secret. You discovered that the key is not in struggle, but in surrender. Not in control, but in awareness. You are no longer an actor thrashing about on stage under the shouts of an invisible director. You are a spectator in a luxurious velvet armchair, watching the play with interest, knowing that you can leave the auditorium at any moment. You have traveled from being a victim of the pink elephant law to being its master. You made friends with your inner beasts, the turtle, the snake, and the human, and learned to direct their strength instead of becoming its hostage. You have assembled your personal arsenal of keys and now know which one to apply when the world tries to steal your peace. But this is not the end. This is your new beginning. From today, your life will be divided into before and after. Before is when you believed your mind was you. After is when you learned that you are the one who observes the mind. The keys you have received are not one-time tools. They are a new way to breathe. A new way to live. Practice them not when the storm hits, but every day, in silence. Create your garden of peace so that when hurricanes come, your trees stand unshakable. Your journey to the silent mind does not begin by forcing it to be silent. It begins by ceasing to listen to it. By stepping back and seeing, you are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears it. And in the silence that remains, true freedom is born. That freedom which cannot be taken away by external circumstances, nor by others' words, nor even by your own, most terrible thoughts. You are the sky. Vast, calm, serene. Clouds come and go. But they cannot defile the sky. They cannot damage it. They simply float across it. Be brave. Be curious. Be free. With deep respect and belief in you, the author.